Now that you have set up your personal profile account on Facebook and you've added some friends and you've created some friends lists to organize your friends into, how do you start to filter what it is that certain friends are able to see and other ones are not? Our example here is that we may very well have business friends and personal friends all on the same account because Facebook only lets you have one Facebook account per person. So there are some things that you might want to share with your personal friends and family that you don't want business friends to have access to, and vice versa. So how are you able to do that in Facebook? Well, you're able to do that in a couple different places. Mainly, you want to go up here in your navigation bar to Settings, Privacy Settings. So let's choose that. All right, and here we can control who can see information about our profile page, who can search for us and what they can see, what activity that we are doing is visible in our profile and in our friends' home pages, and then if we add third-party applications, we can control privacy information for that. You can also, if you want to completely block a person from being able to see anything about you or find out anything about you on Facebook, you can put that information right here. It doesn't prevent them from being able to find you outside of Facebook, but at least within Facebook it does. And by the way, anybody that you block, they're not notified that you're blocking them, so you don't have to worry about that. But let's start with profile, and let's see exactly what we mean by profile. If I go to Ann's page and I click profile, what it's actually talking about is this info tab. So if somebody clicks through to my profile and they click info, what information are they able to see? Are they able to see my phone number, my address, and so on? Now, we didn't fill in all of this information. There's a lot more that we just left blank, but you could have quite a bit of information here that you want to limit access to. So let's go back to our privacy overview and click profile. Whenever you see this little padlock in Facebook, it usually means you're able to customize the privacy settings for this item. Now, you can do something for your profile in general. For example, you could say only friends are able to see your profile, or everyone is able to see your profile, or even friends of friends, meaning that you comment on one of your friends' posts and then their friend can see your comment. Can they click through and find that information about you? So it's set to only friends by default. So you can just leave it there. You can't really customize this too much, but the parts of a profile like basic info, personal info, status and links, all these can be customized. So for example, under basic info, and again, if you're like, what is basic info? Come over here to your info box, make a new window and take a look at what is basic info. So this information, who can see this information? You can say only friends or everyone or friends of friends. On here is the magic bullet that we want. We want customize. So choose customize, and in this little pop-up window, you can say only my friends can see my basic info, but not all my friends. For example, I don't want individual friends to see this, so you'd type the name of the friend, but it's much easier to group them into friends lists, as I talked about in another video. So we're just going to start typing the name of a friends list, like for example, perhaps I don't want people that I've assigned to the group limited access to be able to see my basic info. So these might be friends who friended me because I'm on their mailing list or something. So that's fine for me. What about personal info? Again, if you don't remember what is personal info, you can come over here under Edit Information, and I actually didn't fill out anything under personal info, but it would be things like your favorite music and your activities and your books. If you fill that out, maybe you want some people not to be able to find that, so you could change that as well. Status and links. What did you fill out recently in your status? Up here in your wall. Who sees that? You can change that. Which friends can see that? Which friends can't? Photos tagged of you. So this is a good one. When you upload a photo, you can do something called tagging that photo. So you can say who is in this photo that's on Facebook. And sometimes, like let's say that you're applying for a job, somebody can do a search on Facebook and to see if there's any compromising pictures of you. In that case, you don't want anybody to be able to see that. So what you might want to do is choose customize and say only me can see any photos tagged of me. Or you could say only certain friends, like really close friends. Or you don't mind if all of your friends on Facebook see pictures of you, but maybe there's no reason for your business associates to be able to see pictures of you on Facebook. So you would say, except for people in my business group. Same thing for videos tagged of you and who are your friends. Who can learn who are your friends? Who can see that? What about who can post to your wall? And if you say friends, then you can say which friends. who can see your education and work info. And then after you're done setting these up, click Save Changes. Don't forget to do that. Otherwise, none of your work will be saved. And then go on to Contact Information. Now, contact information is part of your profile, but because it's so personal, they've broken it down. So if we look at Info on our home page and we go to Contact Information, okay, so there's all this very important information, and some people you don't want to be able to find your cell phone number, for example. So for each thing, like your IM screen name, or your mobile phone, or your current address, your website, your email address, you can choose who can see that. Even no one can see that except for yourself when you're logged in. So you would go through each one of these and set up your privacy and then save your changes. I didn't change anything here, so I'm just going to jump to privacy. This is the main link that we chose from under settings, because another thing that you might want to check out is both search and newsfeed and wall. So who on Facebook can find you if they're not your friend? As it says, your friends will always be able to find you. So you can customize this as well. Who is visible? Are you visible on the Facebook search engine? And when they find you, what can they see? Can they see your picture? Can they see your list of friends? A link to add you as a friend? The pages that you're a fan of? Like you might say, I just want my picture, but I don't want people to see who my Facebook friends are. And they can go ahead and request to add me as a friend, because remember, you can always ignore that or decline it. They can send me a message, or maybe you don't want to be bothered by strangers who find you and send you messages, and you don't want them to know which pages you're a fan of. This button down here is turned on by default, that Facebook will create a public search listing for you and submit it to the search engines for indexing. So if you want to see a preview what that's going to look like, I'm just right-clicking and say open in a new tab, and you can see if somebody is searching on Google or some other search engine, this is what they might find for Ann Smith in Facebook. This is your public search listing. And in fact, this is the URL that you could give to people if they're wondering what is your page on Facebook. So let's come back to search privacy. If you don't want that to appear, if you don't want to be available to the public search engines, then turn this off and click Save Changes. And finally, under Newsfeed and Wall, okay, actions within Facebook. When you post to somebody's wall, it appears in their newsfeed. Do you want to show those posts? Your friends' pages might have some information about your recent activities in the highlight section. That's the right sidebar. So, for example, if you really liked a video, that might say, Ann liked this video. If you don't want that stuff to appear, then you can uncheck these. If you posted something on a discussion board or added a new friend, that's going to appear in your wall, which will mean it will appear in your friends' news feeds. If you don't want them to know every time that you've added a friend, turn this off. Or same thing with the chat. Now, notice up here, recent activity will never be shown about these kind of things. So what I liked when I saw this was people I reject as friends or people that you remove from your friends list. That's never going to appear in your wall posts. So you don't have to worry about that being blasted around. But here's an infamous one that people write about: change in relationship status. If in part of your personal profile you change from married to single, or that now you have a girlfriend and you're in a relationship and before you didn't, that's automatically posted to your wall. You might not even realize it, that some edits to your profile announce it to all your friends. So if you don't want that to happen, turn that off. And then you might want to save these changes as well. So make sure that you take at least 10 minutes going through profile, search, and newsfeed and wall privacy settings. And if you've set up your friends list, that also helps customize your privacy settings per type of friend. And I think this is a much more secure way to work with a Facebook personal profile page.